Wakeboarding, unicycling, you name it, he can do it.
And there is Goddard, as if he heard us talking, and he's all the way up to midfield, and an Eagle first down. Quick pass to Goddard, gets a block, and then there he goes, bouncing off Cardinals for a first down inside.
He is big, but he also has good lateral movement. And you can see he knows how to avoid tackles as well as running people over.
Hurts, 15-yard pickup without a huddle. Hurts, and catch made. That's Brown again, falling around the 12-yard line. For the first time this year, part of that secondary for Arizona. Back to cover the other way. Catch made inside the 5. It's A.J. Brown again. I mean, that's impressive. You don't even get those. Look at this lineup in the backfield. You don't even get those third quarter numbers. Hurts. Touchdown, Eagles. Jalen Hurts behind a wall of Eagles, powering his way in. Murray from the pocket down the middle of the field, and it's intercepted at the 35-yard line. He was trying to get it to Hollywood Brown, but C.J. Gardner-Johnson came away with the pick. Picked up 5. And catch made for a first down, falling across the 25. That is Zach Ertz.
And C.J. Gardner-Johnson coming down on that one. Perfect placement.
From the 31, pushing across the 35 is Hollywood Brown. Some Eagle fans creating noise for the home team, home field Arizona Cardinal offense. Pass is complete. Need to run with it for a first down, and he does. James Conner. Fans travel well. 3rd and 10. Deep drop. Murray. Backpedaling throws. Coming back to the football. Falling short. Incomplete. Hollywood shot back into rhythm. See, they drop the deep coverage back around the first down marker. Hurts from the pocket. Now moving. Throws in the middle of the field, and the catch is made. A sliding grab for a first down. Devontae Smith. 19 catches for the rookie Smith. And another completion. And another catch for Smith inside the 40. A.J. Brown drops in the backfield. Now he's coming back to the bottom of your screen. It's going to be Miles Sanders, and takes care of that with a first down run. Jalen Hurts from the pocket, now on the move again. He's got room to run for the first down. He's on his way, and a lot more than that to the 10-yard line. Straight ahead is Jalen Hurts, and that's an Eagles touchdown. He's 2 for 2.
Well, the backup, Colt McCoy, still injured, though. Probably don't want him running as much.
James Conner with a solid run inside the 45 of the Eagles, and an Arizona first down.
Understand that the quick throw was coming there.
Pressure coming. Murray open, a high throw, but leaping to get it. Hollywood Brown. Quick snap. They go without a huddle, and Conner weaves his way inside the 25, just short of the first down. They are going quickly. Catch made. Hollywood Brown trying to shake loose, and he does! To the end zone! That's going to be a Cardinal touchdown! Hurts, catch Smith, and they got close to the 40, pushed back. More than 40% of the time. It's a quick throw in the arms of Devontae Smith. Was the main target. It's a fake, and getting rid of it, J.J. Watt. And has carried the organization forward, moved the team to St. Louis. And on to Arizona, catch at the 20. Hollywood Brown again. Plenty of time. Zach Ertz at the 29. Gardner-Johnson on the coverage. Eagles on top of the division here, trying to hold off the Cardinals. All 3 timeouts. Kyler Murray, middle of the field, and held on. Rolls out and ruled incomplete right away. It's a fake. And enough for the first down up to the 35-yard line. Rondale Moore. One more game after this one he has to sit out. He did drop by the team facility, which was allowed earlier this week. Quick pass, sideline open, out of bounds. Zach Ertz. On the other side, Jalen Hurts has run 9 times and has 2 touchdown runs. Murray hesitates but completes to Marquise Brown. Hollywood inside the 40. Yeah, we'll get to the guys at the Chuckle Hut, Jimmy and Kurt, a little bit later. We have to finish here as Connor follows the blocks. James Conner powering his way all the way down near the Eagle 20-yard line. 2nd and 2. Is it for Ertz or Hollywood Brown? He goes in between. The catch is made by Eno Benjamin. And they're going to have to use a timeout on a 1st and goal. Eberle was since released as Austin Seibert remains injured. From 20 yards away, Amendola makes that. First, they start from the 25-yard line. Miles Sanders, his best run of the day as he gets a first down. Excellent blocking up front. At least one, there might have been 2, but he said it helped. I don't know if it made a difference or not, but we're glad to have him. As long as I'm a coach, I want him as my center as they quickly go to the line. And Kelsey out there helping as there is Dallas Goedert doing what Goedert does, leading this tight end group.
Here we go.
Hurts will keep. Gets a first down and inside the 35. Falling around the 33-yard line of Arizona. Well, that's something more than the 5-man pressure that the Cardinals talk about. Devontae Smith will have a first down. Hit hard, but stays upright and goes out of bounds. Buda Baker. Devontae Smith trying to put a move on. And all that brought down around the 25-yard. They showed him that video.
They didn't need any field goals yesterday.
Oh, you're talking about Texas. Okay. Cameron Dicker, who was called at Texas, so that's good. From 42 away, Dicker the kicker and a smile. The Eagles build that 7-point lead back up. Trying to set up something that's Rondale Moore, who's going to get a first down all the way up to the 35-yard line.
Wow.
Murray is running around. That's what he does so well. On the catch, he kept his feet in, falling out of bounds. A.J. Green. Not bad against this defense for the Cardinals today when it comes to 3rd down. Murray is going to go down. Inside the 35. There is Hassan Reddick. And Devontae Smith stretching his arms about the play as if he wasn't sure. But there is Dallas Goedert all the way up across the 45. Back at their own 49 on a 1st and 20. Upfield and inside the 40 of Arizona is Devontae Smith.
All kinds of space out here.
Hurts, the blitz is on. And they got him at midfield. No James Conner, so Eno Benjamin is the back. He gets the football. Following blocks and a tough run. Picks up 9. Eno Benjamin at 5'9" on a 3rd down throw. Good enough for the first down. Falling across the 20. Well-designed play. Kyler Murray fires at the 30-yard line. Just short of the first down. It's Green again. Thinking of Jonathan, problems getting in their plays, which is an issue that had cost them in a couple of games. Murray open at midfield and taking off is Rondale Moore. Inside the 40 of the Eagles. Benjamin, a good receiver, comes to the bottom of your screen. And he has the football. And he's taken off. Benjamin with a first down inside the 30 of the Eagles. Jonathan Ward is ruled out with a hamstring. Rondale Moore has done a lot of running from his receiver spot. And there's Kyler Murray running. Wiggling his way down to the 11-yard line. First down, Cardinals. Tried to adjust it to the style of Kyler Murray just because of the effective calls. Powering his way. Benjamin has a Cardinal touchdown. Hurts sliding short of the first down. Kenneth Gainwell, the back. Hurts the leading rusher in the game. Gainwell busting through inside the 45 of Arizona on a straight ahead run. The blitz is on. Hurts. Catch made. Dallas Goedert to the 20. It's a first down, Eagles. For Dallas Goedert. And off is Sanders. Chewing up the yards. And there he goes straight ahead. We've seen it all afternoon. Play clock running down. Just in time. Hurts does throw. And the pass is incomplete in the end zone for Quez Watkins. But what a hit. Snap, kick, hold. He got it. On first down, Murray will keep a designed run. And he's got a first down all the way up near the 40. He hadn't run much today, but when they needed it, he responds. Murray has time and good enough for the first down. Zach Ertz again, the ex-Eagle. Sixth catch of the game. Murray. And Hollywood Brown. That's Marquise Brown with a first down inside the 35. No timeouts for the Cardinals. Just wasn't as accurate. He struggled a bit going in this direction. And with the roof closed, natural grass field. Murray is going to run them into position. Sliding. Let's check that spot if it's at a first down. A little bit short, so you spike it. Now you have to kick. And tie this up with 22 seconds remaining. It's up there. It's out there.
Unreal.
And it's no good in the direction he had trouble with before the game. It's only week 5. We're not going to crown anybody, but the Eagles are who we thought they were.
Remember that press conference down here? They're
5-0 for the third time in franchise history. They escape in the desert, the site for the Super Bowl in February on 2017. Eagles win.